1, 2, 3, 4, tell me that you love me more. Sleepless, long nights, that's what my youth was for. Oh, teenage hopes are alive at your door. Left you with nothing, but they want some more.
PTE Help Retell lecture and summarize spoken text. Test date. Subscribe to PTE Help for the latest exam material.
Architectural engineering is a specific field of engineering that deals more with structures and buildings. We're familiar with architects being the designers of buildings, but engineers also are a large part of that process. And often we find that architects and engineers, when they're working together on buildings, are talking two different languages. The beauty of architectural engineering is that these engineers understand design from an architect's perspective, and so are able to much better help architects in creating buildings and places. If you look at the work of Santiago Calatrava, who's probably one of the most famous architectural engineers in the world, his work does that. He pushes materials, he makes concrete do things that feathers should do. That's the beauty. Architecture isn't just about, what it looks like from the outside, that it's much more integrated than that, and also getting architects to understand that engineers are just as creative and incredible designers as architects can be, but that they each have different skills, and how can we get those working together in the best possible way.
PTE Help Retell lecture. Test date. Sample 86 plus scores response. The lecturer describes the field of architectural engineering. These engineers particularly work for the colossal structures and buildings together with the architects generally. The beauty of architectural engineering is that they understand the design from architects' perspectives. Santiago is such an example, who is a famous architectural engineer worldwide, and his works do the same thing with concrete as a feather should do. Thus, this field of study also delineates that an engineer can just be as creative and incredible designer as architects are. PTE Help Retell lecture and summarize spoken text. Test date. Subscribe to PTE Help for the latest exam material.
Imagine you're in front of a group of people and you're about to give a presentation. You look out at the crowd and you see dozens of people, and they're all looking at you, waiting for you to give your presentation. How will the presence of others affect your behavior? Will it help your performance, or will it hinder it? According to the concept of social facilitation, the presence of others will increase the likelihood that the most dominant response for a particular behavior will be shown. So what does that mean? Well, first, the dominant response refers to the response that's most likely to occur. So in the context of your presentation, it means that if you've practiced your presentation for hours on end, you really know your topic in and out, and you generally make very few mistakes when you're practicing it, then the presence of others will lead you to perform very well. It kind of gives you an edge and motivates you to perform well. However, if you haven't practiced your presentation at all, and even if you did a couple times and you made a lot of mistakes, then the presence of others will probably make you perform more poorly than usual. In other words, will kind of exacerbate your mistakes. So why does this happen? Well, the presence of others increases your arousal or your general physiological or psychological excitement. Things like your heart rate increasing, you might be breathing quicker than usual. It's the activation of your autonomic nervous system, essentially. And this is simply known as nervous energy. Your increased energy or arousal leads to the likelihood of the dominant response occurring. So whether the dominant response is correct or accurate depends on how easy or difficult the task is and how well you've learned it or rehearsed it. So the presence of others will likely improve your performance on simple tasks or tasks that you've learned well over a course of time. And it'll hinder your performance on difficult tasks or tasks that you haven't practiced.
PTE Help Retell Lecture Test Date Sample 86 plus scores response.
The lecturer provides the information about the social facilitation and its effects on your presentation skills. Suppose you are standing in front of the people and going to deliver a presentation and they are looking at you, waiting for your presentation, then the presence of people will either help you or hinder your performance. For example, if you have practiced a lot about the context of the lecture and you made less number of mistakes in your practice sessions, then the most dominant behavior will occur. You will perform well and it will give you an edge and motivation. However, if you haven't practiced a lot and have made a lot of mistakes, then it will exacerbate your poor performance and you will be making more mistakes.
PTE Help Retell Lecture and Summarize Spoken Text. Test Date. Subscribe to PTE Help for the latest exam material.
So if you take a second here to delve into the archives of your mind, I'm sure you can remember a time in your life when you were extra super motivated to wake up early. It could have been for a positive reason, maybe it was your birthday and you really wanted to open your presents, or it could have been for a bad reason, maybe you woke up and you realized you were late for an exam. The point is that there are things that are sufficiently motivating to get you out of bed no matter how early it is. And you can take advantage of this fact by establishing a compelling reason to get out of bed in the morning. That is, having something you're really excited to do the moment you wake up. And I think it's important to talk about this because a lot of people who want to wake up early are doing so they can establish morning routines. They're really ambitious. They want to have this routine of habits and activities that drives them towards long-term goals. But the thing about long-term goals is that the rewards don't always come right away, so it's not always enjoyable to do everything in your morning routine in the moment. And when your morning routine is filled with these kind of habits, it's not exactly exciting to get up. So if you can add at least one thing to your morning routine that you really truly enjoy doing, something that's fun, it's going to be so much easier to get out of bed. To give you an example, one of the parts of my morning routine used to be to get up and go for a half-an-hour walk with my favorite daily podcast. And because it was daily, I knew I could wake up every morning and look forward to a new episode, which made me really excited to get out of bed. So the third part of the equation here is to go through what I like to call an automatic wake-up response the moment your alarm goes off. And in particular, I think your automatic wake-up response should be to jump out of bed immediately. And the reason that doing this works so well is because in the few minutes when your alarm goes off in the morning, your brain is kind of at war with itself. You've got like the rational part that makes long-term decisions and plans, and it's kind of fighting against this more instinctual part that just wants to go back to sleep. And if you can get out of bed right away before your brain even has time to come up with an excuse for why you should hit the snooze button, then you're going to be a lot less susceptible to those excuses.
PTE Help Retell Lecture. Test date. Sample 86 plus scores response. This lecture is about the motivation required to help one wake up early in the morning. People usually wake up early when they have any reason behind it that drives them. It could be positive like your birthday, or maybe a bad reason too. It is suggested that you should choose the reason, which should be sufficiently motivating you, no matter how early it is. You should be very excited to do this on daily basis, to establish your daily routine, unlike setting long-term goals that do not deliver fast results.